Today in our 2019 Chevrolet Equinox, you're going to be taking a look at, I'm going to show you how to install the Roadmaster Taillight Wiring Kit for towed vehicles. With our bulb and socket kit installed in our vehicle, you can see we're able to transfer all of our light signals from our RV through to our car while it's being flat towed. What's going to separate this from other kinds like the diode kit is this wiring system runs by itself. It doesn't have to be tapped into the factory wiring on the vehicle. Another nice thing about this kit is the bulbs are LED bulbs, so they're going to outlast the typical incandescent bulb, and they're going to draw a lot less energy, use a lot less power to make them work. The only downside to this kit is you will have to drill a hole on the inside part of the taillight. Each bulb is going to give you 450 lumens and all the proper lighting functions to safely flat tow your vehicle. There are 5 main components for a flat tow setup. You have your base plate, you have your diode wiring kit, you have your braking system, your tow bar, and your safety cables. As far as the installation, it's pretty straightforward. You're going to run your 4-pole wire that comes in your kit from the front to the back or back to front, however you choose. Drill holes in the back of each tail light, connect your wires, and you're ready to go. Now that we've gone over some of the features, let me show you how to get them installed. Now to install your bulb and socket wiring, it's going to be easier if your fascia is removed. What we're going to do, while your fascia is off, we'll take our 4-pole wire. You can start in the back on either one of the lights, or you can start here in the front and go back. I'm going to start here in the front and go back. I'm going to route my wire here to these 2 pins. I'm going to tape it just like that, so when we put our fascia back in place, before we put our plug on, we have access to our wires. Now to run our wire from the front of the vehicle to the back, you just want to make sure you're staying away from anything hot or moving. We ran ours from where our plug's going to be mounted, underneath this panel, right along this rail, a zip tied here, over top of our axle. We have a plastic panel that runs from here to the back. 10mm socket. I took these nuts off, pulled it down, ran my wire right underneath, right up next to my fuel tank. We have some hard lines here, went up over top of our rear axle, on top of our spring cup here, right up to this existing wiring on our driver's side, and I zip tied it there. Now we're going to remove our tail lights. Take a small screwdriver, we're going to pop these little caps loose. T15 Torx bit, take the 2 screws out. We're going to pull our light straight back. Now, if you have a plastic trim panel tool, it may help a little bit. If you take your light and you kind of hit it back like that, it'll pop out. To remove our factory plugs, we're just going to simply push on the lock tab and pull out. We're going to push here, and we're going to pull out. Now we need to make the hole in the back of our tail light for our new light to go in. Because this is plastic, we want to make sure that we're taking it easy on making that hole, because we don't want to crack the plastic or break it apart, because then our light's not going to fit. We're going to take a hole saw bit, 1 inch, and we're going to drill a hole. When we drill a hole, we need to drill it to make sure that it's going in the red. What we want to do is we want to make sure that it's not too close to the lens on here, because we don't want the light to discolor it. We also, this bulb goes inside here. We want to make sure, because this is angled, we're going to kind of have to go at an angle. We want to make sure that we're not going to hit that other bulb. What I'm going to do is I'm probably just going to take this out. And we're going to go in, we're going to about center it here. This is pretty long. We're going to center it, kind of try to make it as flat as possible. If you're using a hole saw bit, once we get the drill bit in, we're actually going to use this backwards. So you just want to make sure we go slow, take it easy. Now if you notice these little tabs here, you need to take a little screwdriver. We need to bend them out. If you don't bend them out, they're going to look like this. You'll notice that it's not going to stay in the light. We're going to take some silicone, RTV silicone. If you don't have any, you can find it here. at etrailer.com. We're going to put it right around this edge. The reason we want to use this is once we put this bulb in there, we want to seal that hole. If we don't seal that hole, you can get moisture inside. You get moisture inside, it affects all of your wire connections and everything else. Now we'll take our light, and pop it into place. We're going to do that same thing with the other light. You're going to take all 4 wires, you're going to separate them. Your green one is going to stay down, it's going to go over to the passenger side of the vehicle. Your white, yellow, and brown, you're going to pass something down from the top here down through the bottom. I got some airline tube. You can use a piece of string with a bolt or a nut. There's enough space in there to get it to drop down. We're going to take these through and I'm going to tape it onto the end of whatever we pass down there and pull them back up through the top side of our fascia here. We're going to take our 3 wires. We're going to start making our connections onto our wires on our bulb. We're going to start with our yellow wire. We're going to go ahead and cut it to size. You can see I've got it kind of close because when we put our light back in, this extra wire is going to have to push down there and you don't want it hanging out the bottom of the car, so try to get it as close as possible. Strip it back. We're going to strip our red wire back. We use one of the smaller blue butt connectors. Now we'll do our brown wire. Our brown and white wire are going to be a little bit different than our yellow because these two are going to have to jump over to our passenger side. So it's going to be easy. Our brown wire is going to connect to our brown wire, but we're going to have 2. So we're going to cut this to size. Only we're going to strip back both ends, our extra wire that we just cut off. Go ahead and tie them together. This time we're going to use the larger yellow butt connector that comes in our kit. Now because we're using that larger one on this wire, I'm going to go ahead and double this. So make sure that it stays connected. Now we're going to do that same thing with this white wire onto our black wire coming out of our bulb. Now we're going to take our yellow and brown wire, our extra wire that we attached, and we're going to feed it back down behind our fascia to the bottom. I wrapped my wires with some electrical tape just to give it a little bit of extra protection. I'll go ahead and reinstall our tail light. We hooked up our passenger side the same way, except our brown wire is a single wire, green wire is single, white wire is the only one that's going to be doubled over here because we're going to ground it right to the body of the vehicle. You see I grounded mine right here. You just want to make sure wherever you're putting your light in, it's not going to hit it. I put mine kind of down like that. Since I was using airline tube, the way I ran it is actually through my bumper beam. My white wire and my brown wire are going to be a little bit shorter, and I didn't know if I was going to have enough to get up to the top. If you don't run it through your bumper beam, I'm going to suggest using the extra yellow wire that you cut off and the green wire to extend your white and brown wire over on your passenger side or driver's side, whichever side you go to give you a little extra room. Once you've got your wire ran across the back of your bumper fascia, make sure you stay away from your exhaust. You're going to go up the same way you did on the other side of the vehicle. Now we're going to install our 6-pole plug on the front of the vehicle. This plug does not come with this kit. However, you can find one here at etrailer.com. On the back of our plug, it's going to tell us which wires go where. They are marked LT for left turn, RT for right turn, GD for ground. TM is going to be our brown wire, that's for our running lights. Center post here is going to be for a charge line. Our customer also has a charge line, which is this red wire here. The reason they have the charge line is because with this vehicle the key has to be in the on position in order for it to be flat towed. We can go ahead and make our connections. We're just going to match our wires to the plugs on the back. I'm going to start with my right turn here on the outside. Little flathead or Phillips screwdriver. You want to make sure you don't pull these screws out all the way because they are very small. Now we'll test out our wiring using an altered power source. This is going to simulate being hooked up to your RV. Running lights, left turn, brake lights, right turn. That'll do it for a look at and installation on the Roadmaster Taillight Wiring Kit for towed vehicles on our 2019 Chevrolet Equinox.